Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is part 2 of factoring completely. So we have just a couple more problems left. For number 7, again, you always want to look for the GCF. And in this case, it's not just a variable in common, but a number is common as well. In fact, what goes into both 16, 40, and 24? 8. So I'm going to factor out 8x. 16 divided by 8 is 2. X cubed divided by x is x squared, minus 40 divided by 8 is 5. X squared divided by x is x. 24 divided by 8 is negative 3. X divided by x is 1. And you're going to look to see if you can factor that trinomial piece further. Now, when your leading coefficient is not 1, you can use either trial and error, or you can also use split the middle. For this problem, I'm going to use trial and error. So I'm looking for two terms that multiply out to 2x squared, and so that would be 2x and x. The signs in my parentheses are different. I may have to change the placement of the positive and negative, but we'll keep it there for now. My last term is either going to be 1 and 3 in the parentheses or 3 and 1. I'm going to try 3 and 1. Now, when you do trial and error, you actually have to test when you multiply out the inner and the outer, that the sum of those products add to negative 5. So it has to add to that negative 5. So this is x. 2x times the negative 3 is negative 6x. And when you add down, you get negative 5x, which is what you want. So my GCF is 8x times 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. And again, if you would like to use split the middle instead of trial by error, by all means, that's totally up to you. Okay. The next problem. Well, there aren't 3 terms, but again, first thing, is there a GCF? Well, I know that 3 goes into both 24 and 81, so I'm going to factor it out. And when I do, I get 8x cubed plus 3 goes into 8 twice with 2 left over. 3 goes into 21 7 times. And so I just factored out a 3. But can you factor 8x cubed plus 27y cubed further? And you can. This is the sum of 2 cubes. 8 is a perfect cube, x cubed is a perfect cube, 27 is a perfect cube, and y cubed is a perfect cube. And you have a plus in between. So this you definitely have to memorize the formula for, not only for this upcoming test, but for the regions. So a cubed plus b cubed is equal to a plus b times, you square the first term, you multiply the 2 terms together, and you square the last term, and it's going to be plus minus plus for the sum of 2 cubes. In this case, a is the cube root of 8x cubed, which is 2x, and b is the cube root of 27y cubed, which is 3y. And so we substitute that into the formula. So it's a plus b, so 2x plus 3y. You're going to square the 2x. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Just be careful. And then the formula says it's going to be a negative here. You're going to multiply 2x times 3y. So 2 times 3 is 6. X times y is xy. And then you're going to square the last term. So 3y times 3y, 3 times 3 is 9, y times y is y squared. If you factored out the GCF properly, then that trinomial piece is not factorable. And so here's my final answer on that problem. And one last problem. This is from the January 2017 Regents, problem number 3. Boop. So again, you look for the GCF. The GCF is m. M to the 5th divided by m is m to the 4th. M cubed divided by m is positive m squared. Negative 6 divided by m is negative 6. Now that looks funky because here you have m to the 4th and here you have m squared. But don't panic. It's kind of like this one, just only slightly different. Most of you would not have trouble factoring m squared plus m minus 6. That's just simply trinomial with leading coefficient equal to 1. And so you would say, oh, I'm going to find two terms that add to positive 1 and multiply out to negative 6. And that would be 3 and negative 2. And you would factor this to m plus 3, m minus 2. Well, this is really similar. As long as the exponent to that middle term is half this, you kind of treat it the same way. I'm going to carry down the m, but instead of this being m and m, this is going to be m squared, and then the rest is the same, plus the minus 2. Remember, the inner is going to be 3m squared, the outer is going to be negative 2m squared, which adds to m squared. So it really does work. In any case, I hope this video is helpful, and I will see you tomorrow.